Hi, thank you so much for that. My name is Ivonne Ortega. I'm a current teen advisor, and I am here joined by the wonderful Edna Chavez and Liang. So I just want to thank you, ladies, for being here. It really means a lot to us. And, I want to go ahead and get started with the first question. So each of you center different issues in your advocacy. And we know that all of these issues that have an impact on the movement for gender equality and racial justice. So, can you share the issue you've committed your time to and why this has emerged as the most urgent issue to you?
Oh, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
All right, cool. So, hi everyone. My name is Edna Chavez. I am now 20 years old, and I am from South Central LA. Um, so basically, I started my activism when I was 15, and it all started with I started with voter registration and all that other stuff, and then it led up to immigration. So voter registration, immigration. Um, the social justice, educational justice, because that's very important. Especially around this time, I feel like a lot of students need to kind of have that exposure as to what's going on because it's so much more than just within the community. It also branches out to different areas such as academics. It branches out to mental health. It branches out to our future. So focusing on the core of what community issues there are, what academic issues there are, and what social issues there are, and kind of just see the bigger picture and then tackle the root cause of it.
Nice to me now.
Yes.
Is now I introduce to myself. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Liang and I'm 24 years old, and I'm the founder of the group Stand by Her, and we gathered a volunteer team of 91 members, in which 84 are women. In a matter of days, we started collecting underpants like sanitary products to Wuhan in this COVID-19. We donated to 205 hospitals and covered more than 85,000 female medical staff with over 1 million sanitary products.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Both of your work sounds amazing. And I want to know what inspired you to get involved. What would you have wished to have known before becoming such great activist, for all the young leaders watching?
I think empathy for women's needs and difficulties is my motivation. I organized the campaign just because I know how uncomfortable it would be when women do not have enough pads during their period time. So it is not necessary to be a professional. When you decided to make a contribution, you only need empathy. So just devote yourself into it without too much doubts.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can we hear from you, Edna?
Yeah, so again, I started back in 2015 with voter registration, and that was through a high school club that the organization that I am now a part of was doing. And so it was a club called South Central Youth Empowered Through Action. And then later on, I got involved with immigration when my father got deported back to Guatemala back in 2016 under 45's administration. So after that, that's where I kind of hit the floor running, and I just started doing Know Your Rights workshops. I started bringing in lawyers into the community, giving them workshops and little pamphlets so people are able to know what their rights are as residents, citizens, and as undocumented people. Because I felt not only because of my father, because it branched out to more than just that. It just so happened that now I was older to fully understand why he was being taken away. So having that already trauma of having my father being taken away because he was undocumented, I didn't want any more families to go through that, especially with the raids that were happening during that time where ICE would just show up, they would just take people, and they still are taking people, displacing people, displacing children. So that's something that, you know, needs to be spoken about. That's something that needs to be tackled and something that needs to be in your face because so many more families are being affected, and it's more than just what the media or what this government is trying to put out there. What the goal with this is just more so putting out the truth, our truth as you know, daughters and sons of undocumented parents or being undocumented ourselves. And so I feel like it's very important to put our truth out there and put the truth of what the government is as well.
Definitely. I agree with you. And Edna, is there something that you wish you had known before becoming such a great activist?
I just wish I knew sooner. I feel like I could have done a lot of things if I knew sooner, but I also wish somebody would have told me how much of a roller coaster all of this would have been in terms of my mental health, my own identity, and my own, like, what is it that I want to do and why.
Okay, thank you. With your leadership, over 2.3 million yuan was raised for distributing, sanitary products to female doctors and nurses on the front lines of COVID-19 care. So this was an online campaign, and I just want to know, how has social media played a role, and how do you think it could be utilized for future movements towards gender equality like yours?
As a grassroots organizer with no experience before, I put the power of social media to work, and the result was tremendous. Our campaign were made possible by social media. In the beginning of the pandemic, people were spending more time online, and my posts about women healthcare staff attracted a lot of attention in a short period of time. Once I decided to go after the shortage of sanitary products, I was able to gather a large, high-quality volunteer team of 91 people, collected comprehensive information about hospitals, healthcare staff, and transportation. And on top of that, we raised about 2.5 million yuan from corporate sponsors and donors, all within a matter of days. The key to an effective campaign is to establish a memorable brand from the get-go. Under our brand, Stand By Her, we promote our value of gender equality by using tags, say no to period shame, and seeing women workers on social media. It encourages more people to engage and create content for these topics. As of today, the two tags have been read for over 1.12 billion times.
You are so amazing and so inspiring to the youth out there. And now I want to know, Edna, how have you seen social media play a role in advancing your issues? Have you seen a negative or a positive impact?
I think
I see it as both. The negative not because of what the message that we're putting out there is so negative, it's just more so because it could be very, very emotionally draining, and a lot of people do tend to get trauma from it. They tend to their anxiety starts acting up. I know when I start seeing a lot of things on social media, my anxiety starts going off the roof and I start acting up. But also it's a very, very good way to put a message out there, because the same way you said, everybody's on social media. Everybody is seeing it, especially now during COVID. Everybody's on quarantine. Everybody's on their phone, even more than ever, right? So it's not like somebody could say, oh, I was so unaware, because it's either TV or phones that everybody just sees it, right? So putting these messages out when the media wasn't trying to put like, oh, LA is protesting here, LA is protesting there. Social media was doing that, for Black Lives Matter, for the street vendors, for immigration, for all those different things that the media was not putting out there. Social media was doing it. And so it has made a good impact as well, but we also have to acknowledge that it can be very, very draining as well.
Is there something? I think you had gotten cut off.
Hey, what? Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Just one more question, Edna. So through your work, you have elevated the conversation around gun violence to include communities of color. So how do we continue to center communities of color in our work to create the future?
One thing when I first really started, and I kind of started seeing different things, it's just more so either we do it or nobody's going to do it for us. Nobody knows our story. Nobody knows the communities we live in or where we come from. So therefore, it's up to us as to when are we going to do it and how we're going to do it, and we better do it. It's not ifs or buts. It's we're going to do it point blank, period, whether it's me and the homegirl, me and the homeboy, or all of us, Like there's no excuse. There cannot be any excuse of how the work needs to get done. Because I remember somebody asking me, why do you think it's important for communities of color to be involved? Why else? Just because we don't live in a suburban area, we don't matter? Just because, we live in these areas that, not because we made it that way, it just so happens that, we live in an area like this, and the way the system is set up, it's pressed up against us. Students of color matter, families of color matter, undocumented students matter, and they come from these communities. So it's very, very important, especially when it comes down to gun violence, that these lives are being spoken about, that this whole so many Black and brown students are losing their lives to a bullet that has no name. That isn't normal, and let's talk about it, even if it makes you uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable, because I've been living uncomfortable my whole life, living in the hood.
Edna, you're so amazing, to say the least. And one more question for both of you. So how do you think that the current movements that are happening right now are the start of a brighter future?
You first.
I feel like now more people are just like, let's educate ourselves. Everything is about educating yourself and learning for yourself and educating others. There's people that don't know where to start because there's so many branches, and we know that we have started, whether it was like a week back, 2 weeks back, or even just yesterday. We have to start it off, and we have to create that chain. We have to make them, household conversations, dinner table conversations, even when we're just kicking it. Let's make those conversations, and now everybody's talking about it. You cannot come across one person that's not talking about something that's going on, and even then, So this is the giant is waking up, and everybody needs to get ready, because nobody's gonna stop us. Nobody can stop us, no matter what.
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yeah, so how do you think the current movements are the start of a brighter future?
Sorry, I have never considered about this question. So can we go to the next question?
Well, no, it's okay. Actually, I think our time is about to be up, and I want to thank you, both of you, so much for being here. Just hearing you from 20 minutes, I have learned so much from both of you, and you have both inspired me so much. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here with us today. It really means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.